my fellow creatives, and welcome to my channel. I am Imani the writer, and today we're going to talk about something that irritates me beyond belief. We're going to talk about the Sapphire Trope, aka the Angry Black Woman Trope. Forgive me if I'm not my usual happy, preppy self. This trope, and among others, truly aggravates me beyond belief. But one thing I can say is that I'm very happy that this trope seems to, I guess seems to be dying down. A lot of people know about it. Like, one quick Google search and you'll find all the information. I don't even really think I need to make a video on it. It's just so out there and so prevalent. But I'm still going to make a video on it, touch on some key points, and also bring in my own experience. So we're going to talk about what it is. We're going to talk about where it comes from. We're going to talk about why it's harmful. And I actually wanted to get a little bit personal in this video and talk a bit about my own personal relationship with anger. I have a very complicated relationship with anger as an emotion in and of itself, and it has shifted throughout time as I grow into my adulthood. So I am excited to kind of share some of my thoughts on anger, my personal relationship with the emotion, and how it is changing and morphing into something that I believe is much healthier for me. And then I'm gonna end the video talking about my thoughts on how to avoid perpetuating this trope in your story or in any piece of creative media that you're working on. All of the sources that I mentioned in this video will be linked in the description box below, so be sure to check those out if they are interesting to you. All right, let's get straight into it. Hey guys, I just wanted to give a short disclaimer. I am a writing coach and a sensitivity reader, and I help writers and creatives bring more cultural diversity to their writing. I do this by combining my knowledge of analyzing stories from my English literature degree, my passions for stories and storytelling, and my own personal experiences and opinions as a person, reader, and writer of color. But no one is an expert or the ultimate end-all be-all authority in this arena. These are just my thoughts and my perspective. I'm super open to feedback, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So what is the Sapphire Trope? The Sapphire Trope is a harmful trope or stereotype commonly found in literature, TV shows, and in film. It depicts Black women as aggressive, loud, emasculating, portrays them as angry Black women who are very quick to snap at people and devoid of any vulnerability and complexity in their emotions, just very quick, snappy. They're commonly depicted as very domineering, very confrontational, emasculating men, all of the men around them all the time, loud and sassy, and lacking any depth in their depiction or just in their character and their personality beyond just that stereotype. Like, that is it. That's all you're gonna get from that character, is that she's angry, and that's it. That's literally it. I really liked the way the Jim Crow Museum has like a webpage all about the Sapphire Trope, and I really loved the way that they described the way the trope typically looks on screen. I'm gonna read this out loud to you. It says, "She is tart-tongued and emasculating, one hand on a hip, the other pointing and jabbing, or arms akimbo, violently and rhythmically, rocking her head, mocking African American men for their offenses, ranging from being unemployed to sexually pursuing white women." So when did this trope really come to be? Where did it originate from? It dates back to the era of minstrel shows back in the 19th century. Black characters were caricatured and exaggerated for the entertainment of white people. According to the Jim Crow Museum, from the 1800s through the mid-1900s, Black women were often portrayed in popular culture as sassy mammies who ran their homes with iron fists, including berating their Black husbands and children. It wasn't until the Amos and Andy show. I do not care if I pronounce the show correctly, honestly. I don't. I really don't. Because the show is so racist. It wasn't until this show that the name Sapphire became associated to the trope. through the character Sapphire Stevens.
There was actually a character called Sapphire Stevens on the Amazon Andy show.
And I guess you think you could cook, clean, and get along just fine all by yourself.
I does.
The representation of the angry black woman. And that's kind of metamorphosized to today, where we just have sassy, angry black women who doesn't take anything from anybody.
This bright idea was conceived by white actors Freeman Gosden and Charles Correll, whatever their faces are. I don't care if I'm pronouncing your names correctly at all. The show mocked black behavior and dialect, airing from 1928 to 1960 on the radio, and then briefly on television from 1951 to 1953. And of course, the show faced a ton of backlash from a variety of civil rights groups like the NAACP. Be sure to check out this article by the Jim Crow Museum for more information on the show itself if you're interested to learn more about the show itself, and as well as other depictions of the trope throughout history. The link will be in the description box down below. So why is this trope and this stereotype super harmful? For one, it reinforces a stereotype about black women, really painting them with a broad brush and devoiding them of any individuality in personality and in behavior. Perpetuating this idea that black women are just overly aggressive makes it easier to justify seeing black women and treating black women as though they are unworthy of empathy or understanding for why they may feel the way that they feel. It not only distorts the way society views us as a whole, but it affects the way we as black women view ourselves, as well as view each other and treat each other. It creates really unrealistic standards and expectations for how we deal with day-to-day struggles, how we emotionally regulate, how we deal with being mistreated. And it encourages the erasure of our experiences, of our struggles, as well as our victories and our triumphs. Honestly, like, it just really serves to silence us further. It allows others to justify invalidating black women's feelings, our experiences, our boundaries, and our human rights. People feel more comfortable tone policing us, labeling us preemptively as aggressive or angry for a tone that a white man could possess and be praised for as being assertive, asserting himself. That's masculine, that's dominant, and he's just asserting his own beliefs. He's not being aggressive. Makes people feel comfortable, justified, vindicated even, when they mistreat us, when they abuse us. And when we respond, they're very quick to just slap on this label on us that we're just angry, as if we have no right or reason to be. Now imagine the impact this must have had years ago, as all of us were growing up, when this mindset was further increased, perpetuated, encouraged, every single time there was a black woman on our TV screens. With every Medea and Tyler Perry movie, every single time people saw this trope, they felt more and more righteous in their mistreatment of us. I can't speak for all black women, we're not a monolith, but can you just imagine the amount of black women who would see this trope, and every single time they see it, there's this inner twinge to prove it wrong, to show that we're nice, that we're sweet, and that we're soft, and that we're feminine, and that we're lovely, to show that we're not like that. We're different. We stay calm when other people would be losing their mind, raging. We keep ourselves stoic when others would fall apart. To constrict the wide range of our emotions, the vastness of our being, so that we don't take up too much space, so that white men aren't uncomfortable, so that white women aren't uncomfortable, so that black men aren't uncomfortable, and no one's held accountable. It is exhausting. Exhausting. Straight up stifling. The trope just needs to die. It needs to just die. It needs to just be buried in the ground, dead forever, never to be resurrected. I'm really, really glad to see that it's starting to die down in the media. At least it seems that way to me. But if you are working on a story, it's really crucial that your story doesn't end up serving as a vehicle to keep this stereotype and this trope going, growing, keeping it alive. So when it comes to this trope, I think that over the time I spent on TikTok especially, the thing I've gotten the most questions about, essentially, how can I have my Black female character express that emotion of anger without it becoming the stereotype and without tapping into the trope? I've got a few thoughts on how to go about that process. Again, disclaimer, these are just my thoughts and my opinions. I'm super open to feedback. I'm super open to continuing the conversation in the comments section. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you guys have any more tips that you think would be really helpful for all of the viewers here today, comment them down below. The first one is showcasing your character with a wide range of emotions. The reason why, one of the characteristics of the trope itself is that anger is the Black woman's primary emotion while she's on screen. Show her happy, show her sad, show her in a wide range. Just showcase her wide range of emotions. Sometimes she's just not feeling anything. Sometimes she's just doing something. Sometimes show her excited, show her perplexed, show her doing other things and pursuing other things that interest her, delight her, pique her curiosity, like get the wheels turning in her brain. Showcase your character in a wide range of situations and with a wide range of emotions. The next thing is to validate her emotions, especially the negative ones. Don't tell the story in a way that makes it clear that you're mocking the fact that she's angry, because that's what the show, the Amos and the Andy, the whatever, the whatever that show was, whatever, that's what that show did. It was written in such a way and performed in such a way that it was obvious you were mocking her anger in the first place. Write the story in a way that showcases that she has a right to feel whatever it is that she's feeling. There's a way to do that for a character even when they are in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes Black women are just in the wrong. Not collectively, but just because we're human, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we mess up. There are going to be times where you're just in the wrong. There are plenty of times where I'm in the wrong, right? But there's a way to validate someone's emotions while still holding them accountable for their actions. You know what I mean? Like, it's still possible to validate all the complicated reasons why they may feel the way that they feel. But that's not the same as excusing the things that they do. So validate their emotions, validate their feelings in the writing. Don't invalidate them just because they're Black and they're angry at the same time. You know what I mean? The next thing is to show a healthy example of emotional regulation. And this can be something that your character learns and develops over time. You know what I'm saying? It's a lifelong journey to learn how to self-regulate in a way that works for you. Everybody has their own journey, and some people get there faster than others. And even once you get to a point where you're comfortable, there's always something new to learn about how to live. How to live, you know what I mean? This particular piece of advice is something I'm still tinkering around with, and I particularly want to know you guys' thoughts on this particularly. Suppose I would like to see more examples of Black women having a healthier relationship with their anger in the similar way that I have cultivated one, I suppose. Unless she's like a villain, which we all love a good villain. I love a very fabulous Black villain. I know I do. But I wouldn't want to see this character doing anything like super immoral or toxic. Maybe if they're just on the wrong side of an argument is one thing, but not something super immoral or toxic as a result of her anger, because that would just be lending itself to the trope. At the same time, like, I'm playing devil's advocate with myself, and I am pushing back on that idea because the journey to cultivating a healthy relationship with one's emotions is not linear. It's very winding. It's not like It's not ship. It's what are those sound effects that just came out of my mouth? It has setbacks. That's what I'm trying to convey. It has setbacks. They're gonna mess up. They might relapse and go back to their toxic ways, but there is still space for redemption in the end of all that. But at the same time, like, it's important to kind of balance that out, you know what I mean? You know, that could make for a very powerful story, and I wouldn't want to prevent that story from being written because I'm saying what I'm saying, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm just one person, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to stifle that creativity, but I do feel very much so that there's a fine line here. Execution is going to be so important. I'm still not sure how to go about expressing what I'm thinking, but I will say one thing with a lot of confidence. Try not to attempt this without some sort of help. Whether it's a writing coach or a sensitivity reader to help you and give feedback and guidance on your execution. I am both, by the way. If you'd like to work with me personally, feel free to sign up for sensitivity reading or book a session to chat with me as a writing coach. You can do both at my website, culturecraftbyimani.com. Links are in the description box below. But if all that just isn't your story of your character being super toxic but then redeeming themselves at the end, if that's just not the story you're writing, if that's not necessary, just don't bother with it. You know, you don't have to push the story that route. If that's just not what it is, you know, focus on showcasing healthy emotional regulation for this particular character. Don't have her suppress her emotions or suppress herself. Let her have the space that she needs to feel all her feels. Did any of that make sense, like, at all? Comment down below. I need you guys to let me know, please. I don't know if any of that made any sense. So that's it, you guys. That is all I have for you today when it comes to the Sapphire Trope. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you like this video, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you are feeling the vibe, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!